Yet another unbelievably frustrating video about Doom audio. Let's try and make it as quick as possible. So if we search for genmidi.Doom, hopefully the wiki will come up. We'll use this as a generally separate place to go. Well, at least what people think. Doom 1 and Doom 2 have different genmidi lumps. Well, fucking fantastic. But then the wording even gets even more confusing. So what this means is like the realization that for whatever reason they've changed the genmidi lump. There's absolutely no explanation as to why it's been done during the process of the two. So when you listen to Doom 1 music, those tracks that exist within Doom 2 sound totally different. Or maybe not totally different, but apparently different. Now I've checked, ironically, they don't actually show you the differences between them. So I have no idea where they're coming up with this information from. Obviously, you assume them to be accurate since they've delved quite deeply here into all of the information. Now, it could be possible that some of this maybe is different, but it's like these values here carry attacks and output level of key scale. I suppose they could be different within the generated lump, but the bottom line is if you actually check them, all of the instruments are exactly the same. Everything's the same. So the only thing that really makes a difference is from here onwards, and there's only, what was it, like 3 differences or something ridiculous like this. So when you compare them, there's one, which is a dot. So that's not going to be anything. There's a dot that's not going to be anything. It's quite possible that could be something, I suppose, along here. So yeah, there's not really a lot of differences there. Not enough to equate for some sort of substantial change within all the music, unless it's just happens to be one thing. One of these little fine-tuning modulators, sustains attacks, or maybe even turning something off. All of the instruments are the same. So this information is basically bunk. It's completely worthless. It's just like doesn't explain anything whatsoever. And then it goes on to say, but Final Doom reuses the Doom 2 set. Well, it's because it was created for Doom 2, so obviously it's going to use the same gen MIDI. Now it results in a different sound for the Doom tracks used in Plutonia. This is a fragmented sentence. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, there's no mention of TNT, but it's just the word in it, resulting in a different sound from the Doom tracks used in Plutonia. It's grammatically incorrect. It makes no fucking sense. But what's important about this is, like, how the fuck do we work out which one to use and what difference does it make? So when you look into it, you realize obviously the only source for, back to the wiki actually, genmidi.lump, ZDoom. There we go. So we'll search for ZDoom. Should be plastered all over. ZDoom can make use of this. Now, does that mean that also GZDoom can make use of this as well? Since all of the source code for GZDoom is pretty much the same, other than things that the developers dicked around with. Now, this thing with the fucking developers is really, really bugging me. So I've just recompiled my SC Doom using ZDoom 2.8.1, which I believe is, let's just double check to make sure. I should click on the downloads there. There we go. So if you click on the downloads, 2.8.1 source code is the most recent one before they changed to GZDoom whatever, version 1.0, I assume. Like, the majority of this code is nothing to do with the developers of GZDoom whatsoever, or even ZDoom for that matter. These are just like integrated projects that you can swap and change out, or if they coded well enough, the only thing you would expect to change is one file with a version number. But you can extract the game music emu. Now, you can read through it and read the source code. I obviously suck at source code, but the bottom line is that you can take that out. You can go to what is now my ZDoom folder, which is basically just a modified version of GZDoom 3.2.5 source code. You can make a backup of your existing game emu, and then you can drag and drop the new one in there. Now, I haven't really looked through all the files, but there is a slight difference with, say, the make lists, I believe. So, I'm comparing two similar folders that way. Let me just go to my backup. Yeah. So right down the bottom of here is here. Okay. Now this was not commented out. This was exclude from all builds rules, but keeps it out of the default build. So for whatever reason, they've chosen to do this. Now I put uncommented it so that this didn't pop up. I wanted to see what it was, and lo and behold, when you open up CMake, if we go configure, it'll probably break now just because I'm recording. But there should be a list of available options, and there they are. GME. So we've got enable support for Spectrum ZX Music. Enable support for Game Boy music emulation. Sega Mega Drive music emulation. Now, for all I know, these options not being in there, they're already coming on anyway. Possibly they're already integrated in GZDoom. I assume the developers obviously know them more than me because they can code and I completely suck at it. But it just seems that the stuff that they do with the coding is pretty uncool. We can force internal stuff here, so maybe this isn't needed. Maybe this is a benefit to having it there. But the bottom line is, after you've done the change and just hit compile, it works. So you can quite literally swap one folder out and compile like GZDoom 3.2.5. I don't know if it works for the most recent one. Probably works for the most recent one as well. And you can use ZDoom's menu. So I imagine after 7 minutes of waiting, you're all probably wondering, well, what fucking difference does it make? Well, if you listen really carefully, I'm about to show you the difference in the audio from where obviously the GZDoom devs have done something. There's no documentation at all to it that you can find anywhere. It's not their source code to begin with, so they fucked around with someone else's source code under whatever license and then not redistributed the changes or the change logs to it. So you just have to guess. Now there could be a change log out somewhere, but for people like me who just like want to play Doom with the original music and it's still fucking impossible after 30 years, this is a bit of a nuisance. So we'll boot up my ZDoom, which is identical code into GZDoom 3.25, apart from the changes I've made, which at the moment have nothing to do with audio. And then we've got the 2.0, which uses ZDoom's very last release using the GME music, which, by the way, there's things you can do here. Like if you wanted to just say grab with a file that you would expect to be, there we go, because it's called GME. So if you just grab that C++ file and Google it, the chances are you'll find someone that has libgme that's made other changes here. So you could maybe use one or more of those. Ideally, we want to find the original sort of, who the hell made this in the first place and maintains it. But we can find that another time. Anyway, let's boot it up. You can hear the difference. I am going to pause the video and try to run two instances and record these separately at the same time. But for whatever reason, we'll just run with one, then we'll run with the other. And we'll just listen to the first sort of 10, 15 seconds. Here we go. This is the GZDoom sound. And then we'll jump straight in with ZDoom, and then you can see the difference. Okay, so the difference should be just night and day there to the music. It is to me that, like, again, I'm not exactly a great musician. I do audio mastering and I got a brain like a sieve. So that kind of threatening kind of thing, you know, that like scraping of the whatever it is, the pick across that little noise. It's way more prominent in the original ZDoom. It's definitely the most accurate interpretation of it. You can just tell that by the sound of the instruments and how it's supposed to sound and the levels of it, and everything is just way more um, true to what you would expect from the original sound. So why GZDoom have done this all the way through and fucked the audio up all the way through is beyond a joke. The only thing Doom has ever needed is to be able to just work. All of the extra fancy fucking modifications and graphics and stuff are a load of bollocks if you can't get the audio to work straight off the bat, because there's just no point including that sound code in the engine whatsoever. So if you want to listen to Doom music as it was originally designed, and bearing in mind that although it was supposedly done by, say, Bobby Prince on a Gravis sound card with an SC55, that is it's not a great example of producing music, you know, and people will kick off at me for this, but it's really not. Um, that is music that's designed for a specific person, for a specific sound, and you can tell that Doom has always been focused on that kind of selfish nature. The use of the Gen MIDI would have been a more universally accepted thing, but there is a quote out there saying that, you know, this is kind of like a later integration, given the fact that they couldn't be asked to get up out of their chairs basically and go and buy a sound card. So whatever took them so long to fuck around and get a sound card from Creative or Sound Blaster to test stuff out. Anyway, why is the Gen MIDI lump changed between Doom 1 and 2 without any explanation whatsoever? Why has nobody recorded an original Gen MIDI 1 24 tracks playthrough as well as a 24 tracks playthrough of Doom 2's Gen MIDI lump to see if there's actually a difference? Why is there such an in-depth, really informative kind of deep dive information in the wiki that doesn't actually explain the differences whatsoever? It just says, oh, there's a couple of differences there, and here's a bit of bad grammar, and then here's a copy and paste of. So obviously one person's writing the wiki, one person's doing the work. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. The music has never been accurate to begin with. So you've got two options basically, and this is where it gets even worse. You've got Chocolate Doom, which has gone way beyond the original music. It's you know, not saying whether it's an improvement or not. That's irrelevant. It's not close to the original sound anymore. It may have started off doing it, and there is some super impressive stuff for the engine that they're able to do compared to GZDoom. You know, they really have made an effort in that area with the free Doom area and the audio, but it's still wrong. So that's completely and utterly pointless. What's the point? You've then got DOSBox, which is widely renowned as the place to go to for accuracy when it comes to Opal 2 or Opal 3, both of which are supported by the Gen MIDI lump. Opal 3 not really making a difference. So maybe that's what they did with the Doom 2 thing. Maybe they did expand on some of those extra sort of features. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. But it's a bit weird that all of this code is interchangeable and they don't really tell you the changes that they make with the developers when they kind of, you know, I don't want to say legally should because nobody really gives a fuck. But it just helps the end user. Like, there's so much information about the audio that's absolutely wrong out there. And even me making this video is going to add to it, make it even worse. But the bottom line is, if you want to listen to Doom music accurately with this so-called this DMX sound engine that we're never ever is never gonna see the light of day. There's ZDoom, which has the ability to read the Gen MIDI lump. That's not actually an indication as to whether GZDoom can. I'd like to say it's safe to assume that you can, but obviously if I give someone that information, then it could be wrong. So I can't say that for a fact because it's not written anywhere. These are things, you know, issues and questions that should not exist. I'll personally be using, by the look of it, an entirely new ZDoom engine. I kind of knew this would happen when I opened it up and realized that, oh, I'm going to be able to just drag and drop projects really easily, read people's source code and modify this to my heart's content, but the result is never going to be a universal standard unless there's accurate information out there to begin with. The only other thing I can think of to solve this matter would be to listen using both genmidi.lumps, record both 24 tracks in DOSBox, and that's it. It's just a perfect recording. Now I've already done that once, not realizing that I was using the genmidi.lump from Doom 1 I would have used, not realizing that they were different in 2. So that's a little bit annoying. But I'll go back and visit the Doom AdLib audio project. Remember, when you're talking about AdLib audio, OpenAI, and stuff like that, with Opal, it's all under the same hat. Opal 2 and Opal 3, it doesn't make a difference. So I'll look into that, try and do the renditions again, and it looks like we're going to move forward with ZDoom, and with absolutely no rush whatsoever. I mean, a 15-20 minute rant has just come from like a 2-second download, a source code overview. So I'll have to do a file comparison between the original and the old, and go through, read everything, and kind of check the changes along the way to see how GZDoom has done the changes and what they've removed. Whatever. I hope some of this was informative. I mean, I will say, like, well, hang on a minute, how do we boot it up? How do you recommend it? I generally recommend that what you're going to do is, I've got 2 DOSBox versions, so I've got one set up for Gravis ultrasound, which obviously just uses that sound port. You just run setup and good to go. And this one, I'm going to have to just add a couple of options here, which I kind of originally had anyway, but for Opal, that's fine. That's no problem. For Gus, I think we're going to have to add an option here where you've either got Gus on and, oops, I booted up the wrong thing, or shut down. We're going to have to put a selection of Gus wads there, test those out. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to focus on genmidi. We'll stick with the Opal, and we'll just add the commands here. Should be easy enough to do. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can you just go up to, yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that you could do that. So and since we can just rename them, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. Okay, so we've got genmidi. That's going to work out quite well, because I don't want a 1 next to an I. We'll just do that. So it sticks with the old 8-letter rule. And we'll load those up in DOSBox. So we're going to go Doom 1. Just literally just put them in there. And then we can load up our DOSBox config, I suppose. And because obviously genmidi is going to be this. So we can add an option, which is with Doom 1. Instead of putting exit, we can do D1. Okay, so we got genmidi 1 or 2. Okay, so then instead of D1 exit, we just got D1 GM 2. So we do that, and then basically stick that there, and instead of the Opal 3 ending, we need to put 3. I'm lazy, copy and paste, DDD. Oops. I guess it's best to put it after. Do you want it right at the end? Yeah, I guess that's good. So this will be obviously testing it. We want to test it with the Doom 2 first, because we've always listened to the Doom 1. So that should boot it up. I won't do the choice now, because I go on and I might as well just type it all out. Sort it. So Let's give the user the choice. So we got genmidi1 on, or 2 on. And we go gm1 on, gm2 on, and bang. So that goes to there, that one goes to there, that one goes there. Oops, typing's rubbish today. That one's there, pop that in there, pop that in there, do that, do that, and do that. And that should be it. And I guess I could always put a third option because you never know when you want to bail. One with genmidi 1 2 3 1 2 3 level 3. We don't want to actually go to exit though, do we? We want to go to. Oh, sorry, I was just checking in D2 exit. I'll do for now. No, have we gone exit file in the end? Exit file. There we go. Where's it going? Where's it going? Where's it going? One. There we go. That should be fine. So this is going to be our genmidi 1 or 2 choice. That should be fine. And will that work, or did I completely cock stuff up? We shall see. So we want to go Doom 1 with genmidi 1 or 2, and we want to go genmidi 2 on. Crashes. So that's fantastic. That's no surprise. Why does it do that? We shall see. Maybe it doesn't work as an opal 2. I mean, the easiest thing to do would have just been swap the rods, really, wouldn't it? That would have been a lot quicker, but it'd be nice to know. Doom DOS add file parameter. Maybe do you use dash file? Maybe you do use dash file. Maybe that's why. I thought that was a GZDoom thing. Playing the terminology. No, doesn't work. Interesting. Why not? So weird. So how the fuck are you supposed to use this file? Maybe you just do that. Copy that for the moment, and then just go like that. One, two. No, it doesn't. Do. That could be why, because I completely fucked that up. That would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, get it right first before we start. Oh, so you can't use it? Yes, you can. Okay, so we've got our 1 option, we've got our 2 option, we've got our exit option. That's all fixed, that's all done, everything's looking cool. Does work with Opal 3, so we can do that. I mean, there's no point though, let's just set Opal 2 and see what happens. To make sure that works. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 2, 2. Oh, what? No way. What is happening there? Oh, my bad. So we go 1, 1, 2, 1. No, it boots all the way through, but when you use the second lamp, it doesn't boot. So there is a difference between it, but the difference, I honestly don't believe it's anything to do with the music. Something to do with the handling of files, which means that for the entire of Doom 1, it's highly likely that that genmidi file is fucked. Which means that every single person, irrelevant of what source port they use, with only 2 source ports, ZDoom and Chocolate Doom, and DOSBox not being a port, 3 options available out of the 69 fucking source ports. Every single person that's using the genmidi lump from Doom 1 as they play Doom 1, even if they're using Chocolate Doom, unless they've coded to change it, is wrong. I'd guess that based on the information that's out there, if Chocolate Doom has gone into this in depth into making it accurate, and then they've gone far beyond what I think, I like it when you enjoy the project and take it, but you should always keep that vanilla theme as one separate thing, like ZDoom, GZDoom separate. I think Free Doom has gone too far. It'd be hard to go back and find one default, hey, this is the original and this is our improved version. I think that they're too integrated together. But this is interesting. I'd like to know, finally now, after half hour, I think I'll end it there because it's all been ranting. Yeah, I think I'd really like to know why there's an error loading up here as it crashes. But the system definitely works. You can do it. There's no explanation as to why you should be able to do it. We'll have to integrate these changes into the menu. I'll clean up this menu system so all options are just, not jumping through menus after menus. Although it's kind of clean doing that, and if you make a mistake, you can always exit back to DOS. Oh, I guess there's one other cool thing that I've done as well, which is... Will I be able to show it? Okay, yes. Actually, I might be able to. I wonder if ZDoom works with that new GNU. So finally, we've got options. Sound. Key Station Mini 32 MK3. So I decided to plug in my MIDI keyboard and start doing some stuff. And the moment that I did, obviously check the apps that I used to use when I had my MIDI keyboard plugged in. Came to the realization that I had MP Track installed, which is something I completely forgot about. And even though, unfortunately, this is transferred from a different hard drive kind of thing, like a Windows 7 install. I don't have the Gravis samples folder set up, which is a shame. I might have deleted that project. I'm pretty sure I have killed it, but I've got a couple of folders where Gravis files are different, and they're definitely not the official differences, like version 1, version 2, 4.1.1, Pro patches, whatever. So I'm pretty sure some of the samples on my hard drive are actually ones that I created, and this would have been the entire thing that I used to create like a couple of changes to the GMDLS and stuff like that to create the same font and things. And we got my MIDI libraries and every setup ready to go, so we're all good. We can. I mean, the good news is you can fix music to the end of the day, but it's still heavily personalized. Obviously, this whole video has just been about trying to get to the core basics of what the fuck's going on with Doom music. Anyway, rant over. Enjoy.